Hello, this is the Monotone Centrist. Today's video is going to be about reparations. Reparations. I can't fucking talk today, but my thoughts on this is this might be a hot take. I don't think anyone should get them. That counts for the black people and Native American. I know there's been atrocities on both of these. Okay, blatantly obvious with slavery and almost the genocide of the Native Americans. USA has done some pretty fucked up things to both of these races, and it kind of, affected, some kind of wealth. Of course, I think there's some kind of, effect from, 200, 300 years ago to today, especially when you take away something like that and like hinder on purpose, like, slavery and the genocide. There's always going to be like, that generation wealth is going to be kind of missing there because essentially, or more so set back in a lot of ways. Uh, Not only black people, but Native Americans as well. Just like, you know, reservations, Jim Crow laws, and all these things. But how do we pay that back? This is near impossible. Do we really give the money back? That would cost trillions. I looked up how much it would cost just for the black people alone. It's like almost $2 trillion. Basically $500,000 for each person, right around there. Um, Here's the problem. Not everyone could prove that they're had slavery ancestors, and um, not everyone from here that lives here today who is black don't have slaves. There's a lot of immigrants that came here completely legal. So, and that's also a problem because there's people that live here for a couple of generations now that are U.S. citizens that would have to pay for this if it came out of their taxes, which probably be the most likely place where the money would come from. And they had nothing to do with slavery. We don't have anything to do with slavery. No one's alive that's been a slave or a slave owner. So it's kind of punishing like people, you know, who's had nothing to do with it. It's like if I commit a crime, I expect my children to pay for it. Like I die or something. I rob a bank and I die. Does my my child have to go to prison for that and pay for? No, because they're not the ones that did anything. So if we did find somehow to pay for this, which would be ridiculous, even if we got like 1/4 of the black population to actually be able to claim it and stuff like that, it'd be like devastating, like to the economy. Like everything would inflate at least a little bit. I don't think there would be a massive inflation, but handing free money out like that, and Native Americans need something too, so that's become a problem. If you give reparations for one race, you're going to have to do it for others. So again, that comes in the problem. How do we pay back the Native Americans? Give back their land? That doesn't solve anything. They'll pretty much the whole United States is owned by land, as at least is owned by certain tribes. And how does that work out? Because everyone's has houses and businesses, and do we pay all the property taxes to the Native Americans? Like, how is this going to work? Is the biggest problem I see of trying to dole out some kind of payment, because let's say you could prove that you're an ancestor to a slave, or you Native American heritage. What if you're like half, like you're half black, you're half Native American, or you're a quarter black or a quarter Native American? Do you get quarter of the money? Do you get half the money? Like the stuff that comes with this is really troubling, and how do we pay this back even if we could, which would be near impossible. Like it's in the trillions just for black people alone. I couldn't imagine it for freaking Native Americans as well. That'd be also probably in the trillions. So like that would just completely, I wouldn't say completely blow our economy, but it would be very damaging, I think, if we're just starting handing out free money. And taxes would have to be probably like 40, 50% on certain, brackets, and like 10 to 20% on the lower brackets. Even on the lower brackets, it would have to be high to us to really pay anything towards these groups. So while I kind of agree they probably should get something, how much should they get? And if they're half or a quarter of this particular race, how do we pay them then? And the problems, I think, really arise in that. If we got like a quarter of the black population, a quarter of the Native Americans that can only prove it, and they can only ones that can get the compensation and stuff like that, that's still a lot of people, and that's still a lot of money. So overall, I don't think we can do anything. It's this should have been paid back with the treaties that we had with the Native Americans, and treaties with the the black population. A lot of things changed when during that time where the presidency switched over, and a lot of the treaties were just completely not done. They were just 40, what was it, 40 acres and mule, and whatever treaties they have with the Native Americans. Just like a lot of shit that just wasn't honored. Unfortunately, that's just, should we really hold up the U.S. government? Like, a lot of people trust the government way too damn much to uphold these treaties from those times that honestly we should never fucking trusted them in the first place. But here we are, we did, and we expect them to pay, and all of a sudden now is time. Like even if we could do like a quarter of this, the trillions of dollars, I just don't see how we can just do this kind of thing. And how do we distribute this kind of money to people that's essentially free without fucking our economy to do shit? Like, I know we're one of the richest countries in the world, but that kind of compensation would be just insane. So I just don't know if there's a solution, if any, to rectify what we've done, except for moving on and learning not to do these things again, which I think we've done plenty of. We definitely changed things for the better. It took way longer than it fucking should have, granted. But we have changed a lot of things, and like the system as a whole, I think is vastly not racist. There's a few things I think are systemically racist, like reservations. That's pretty much it. But I guess that's for a different video why I believe in that. Uh, so that's pretty much my conclusion. Is like there's no way we could pay it back, and even if we could pay it back somehow, there's so much problems with paying it back, that there's no real solutions in sight that would not only rectify it, but somehow, even if these groups got these kind of compensations of the money, does that really do anything? Does that actually solve all these issues that people have with it, like generational wealth and inequality? Does that really offset that? And if it somehow does, how much? And there's so many problems with this. I just don't understand how we can do it. That's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Rate, comment, subscribe.